boys and girls. Welcome back to Math Expressions with Miss Hasty. Today we are looking at lesson 6-5, and 6-5 is language of comparison problems. Okay, so we're working with story problems some more, and we're going to be looking at addition, subtraction, sometimes multiplication and division. So we're looking for those key words to help us decide what we're going to do. The activity pages you're going to be working on today are 253 and 254 in your activity book, so please turn there now. We're going to be reading some story problems together, drawing some comparison bars to help us see what we are trying to accomplish, and then solving the problems. Okay, not forgetting our labels. All right, here we go. So page 253. Here we go. Jump rope contest. In comparison problems, you compare two amounts of addition by using addition or multiplication. Draw comparison bars when needed. Okay, so there's gonna be some tricky language, so we really need to pay attention to that today. Number one, Julia jumped 1,200 times. Samantha jumped 1,100 times. How many more times did Julia jump? Now, sometimes we might think that we have a times problem here, multiplication, but times is the label. It's how many times they jumped. So that isn't the case here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw some comparison bars to kind of help us out. So we have Julia. We're going to call that. Here we go. Let's get my drawing in. Okay, Julia is J. Sometimes this doesn't want to wear. Here we go. We'll try a different color. Julia is going to be J. And Julia jumped 1,200 times. So we're going to make a little bar for Julia. Samantha jumped 1,100 times. So which bar should be bigger, Julia or Samantha? Well, Julia jumped 1,200, Samantha jumped 1,100. So Samantha's bar is going to be smaller. Okay? How many more times did Julia jump? This is going to be a subtraction problem, and you're trying to find out that difference right there. So you're going to take 1,200 minus your 1,100, and that's going to give you how many more times Julia jumped. And don't forget your label. All right. Okay. So you can go ahead and solve that problem. Number two, Ahana jumped 1,050 times. Rolando jumped 1,080 times. So again, you can use comparison bars here. We have A and we have R. Ahanu jumped 1,050 and Rolando jumped 1,080. So Rolando's bar is going to be bigger. How many fewer times did Ahanu jump than Rolando? So you're looking for this difference right here. So that is going to be a subtraction problem. So 1,080 minus 1,050. Okay, and how many fewer times is going to be your label? 3. Altogether, the blue team jumped 11,485 times. The red team jumped 827 more times than the blue team. Okay, so if you set up your comparison bars again, here's the blue team. Okay. And the red team jumped more. So the red team is going to be a larger bar. Alrighty? So to find out how much more, or how many times the red team jumped, you're going to add those two together. And that's going to give you how many times, that's your label, the red team jumped. Okay, number 4. Altogether, the green team jumped 10,264 times. The yellow team jumped 759 fewer. There's a key word there that tells us subtraction. So again, we can compare the green team and the yellow team. Yellow team jumped 759 fewer than the green team, so that means the yellow bar is going to be smaller. Okay? So you're going to take that 10,264 minus the 759, and that is going to give you how many times the yellow team jumped. Okay, number 5. Ted jumped 1,300 times. He jumped 100 more times than Mario. Okay, so Ted is 1,300, we know that. And it's 100 more than Mario. So that means Mario is going to be less. So how many times did Mario jump? You're going to take that 1,300 minus your 100 and label it with times. Number 6, Isaac jumped 987 times. Carlos needs to do 195 more jumps to tie with Isaac. So who jumped more? Well, Isaac is 987, and Carlos needs to jump 195 more to tie Isaac. That means Carlos jumped less. How many times has Carlos jumped so far? So take that 987 minus the 195 and label it with times. Okay, we have one more in the bottom here. Number 7. Altogether, the 4th graders jumped 345,127 times. If the 5th graders jumped 2,905 fewer jumps, there would have been a tie. Okay, so we know 4th grade, 345, 127. And it says if the 5th graders jumped 2,905 fewer jumps, there would have been a tie. So it's telling us 5th grade jumped more. Well, obviously, right? So you are going to find your answer by taking the 345, 127 plus the 2,905, and your label is going to be times. That's how many times the 5th graders jumped. Okay, let's go ahead and turn to 254. So let me get out of this one. And this is going to be more of multiplication and division to find our problem. So we're going to be going back a little bit into the last couple lessons where we used our solution and situation equations for these. Okay, number 8. Ty scored 6 points in a basketball game. Ed scored 4 times as many points as Ty. How many points did Ed score? Okay, so if we have Ty, he scored 6 points and Ed scored 4 times as many. So that's a simple multiplication problem. Don't forget your label. They do get a little more complicated, so pay attention. Number 9, Ramon scored 10 points at the volleyball game. That, they're talking about the 10, was 5 times as many as David scored. Okay, so we have some unknown number times 5 equals 10. Okay, how many points did David score? All right, and you have to ask yourself, well, who scored more? You might use comparison bars here again. Okay, so to solve for our unknown here, we're going to take our 10 divided by 5 to get to the unknown factor. And make sure that you label it. Number 10, Anna has $15 in the bank. Her sister Benita has 1/3 as much money in the bank. So she has 1/3 of 15. How much money does Benita have in the bank? Okay, so you have to take 1/3 of the 15. All right, I'm just going to make sure I'm turning at the same time here. Number 11, Dana has 9 files of music downloads. She has 1/5 as many as Sonia. So 1/5, of Sonia is 9. Okay, she has 1/5 as many as Sonia, but we don't know Sonia's. How many files of download does Sonia have? So when you're solving for an unknown factor, you take your answer here and divide it. So you're going to take the 9 divided by 1/5. And again, what do we do with that? Whole number goes over 1. Get the reciprocal of the second and turn it into multiplication. Okay, so that's going to give you how many files of music downloads. Number 12, Chester has 49 files of music downloads. Tony has 1/7 as many as Chester. How many files of music downloads does Tony have? So Tony has 1/7 of the amount that Chester has. So 1/7 of 49 to find out how many files Tony has. 13, a restaurant offers 18 types of pizza. A small cafe offers 1/3 as many types of pizza. How many fewer types of pizza does the small cafe offer? Okay, so it's 1/3 times the 18. And how many fewer types of pizza? Okay, there we go. Okay, let's go ahead to the homework page. Let's look at these. We'll walk through the equations and what you need to do to solve them. A little bit on the remembering side, and we'll be set on lesson 6-5. Okay, I'll give you a minute to pull out your homework. Okay, let's go through these together. Follow along. Number 1, Michael has 21 t-shirts. 1/3 of them are blue. How many of Michael's t-shirts are blue? Okay, so 1/3 of 21 is going to tell you how many of Michael's t-shirts are blue. That's going to be your label. 1/3 of 21, multiply, numerator times numerator, denominator times denominator, and then divide your numerator by your denominator. 2, there are 476,092 fish in a city aquarium. That number of fish is 476,070 more fish than Nadia. So Nadia plus the 476,70 equals the 476,092. Well, that's our situation, but how do you solve that? Okay, you take your 476, oops, erase that there. Back to my pen. 476,092 minus your 476,070. That's going to give you how many fish Nadia has in her aquarium. It's a small one. Number 3, Anne Marie has saved $9 for her new coat. We know how much she saved. That is, so they're talking about the $9, 1/6 as much as she needs. So that means 1/6 of some number is $9. Okay, so you need to figure out what that is. Now, how do we solve for the unknown factor? You're going to take your 9 divided by the 1/6, and that's going to give you how much money the coat costs. Okay, again, whole number over 1. Get the reciprocal of the second fraction, you end up multiplying. Okay, and don't forget your label, it's going to be money. Number 4, last year it rained 63 days in Mudville. There were 7 times as many days of rain in Mudville as in Desert Hills. How many days did it rain in Desert Hills? Roll over to this one. Okay, so that means that we know how much it rained in Mudville. 7 times as many in Mudville as in Desert Hills. So we don't know how much it rained in Desert Hills. That's our unknown. So some number times 7 equals 63. Solving for an unknown factor, take your product divided by the factor you do know. 63 divided by 7 is going to give you how many days it rained in Desert Hills. Number 5, Maria wants to buy a new car. She will choose a green car or a silver car. The green car costs $16,898. The silver car costs $1,059.75 less than the green car. What is the cost of the silver car? Okay, this is a basic subtraction, but don't forget to line up your decimals, okay, to get that cost. Number 6, at a country music concert, 48 people played guitars. That number, that is talking about this 48, is 6 times as many as the number of people who played banjos. Okay? So that means some number times 6 is 48. How many people at the concert played banjos? All right? Solve for the unknown factor. 48 divided by your 6. And that's going to give you how many people played banjos. And number 7. There are 8 apples left on the table. There are 1/4 as many apples as bananas left on the table. How many bananas are there? So that means 1/4 times some unknown number equals 8. How do you solve for that unknown factor? Take your 8 divided by what you do know. Okay? And that's going to give you your other factor. Again, this is a whole number divided by a fraction. Whole number over 1, turn it into multiplication, get the reciprocal of your fraction, and that will solve your problem. Okay, let's go to the remembering side. Make sure we know what we're doing there. Here we go. Make that big. Okay, so we have 1 through 6 are adding and subtracting mixed numbers. You need to get common denominators. Okay, number 4 here, again, they don't have any 11s to take 5 11s from, so you need to create some by borrowing from the wholes and making 11 11s, which equals a whole. And then you can do the problem from there. Number 7 is, it's been a while since we've done that, so I'm going to work through that a little bit. So use the number line to find 2/3 times 4/5. Label all the parts above and below. Okay, first you want to solve it. So 2 times 4 is 8, and 3 times 5 is 15. All right? Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to break this bar into those fractions. The first fraction, I'm going to break it into 4/5. Okay, and then with each of those fifths, you're circling the thirds. Hopefully as we do this, this is bringing back some memory of how we did it. Okay, and if you were to count those, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 that are circled within both, that's the 8. And then of 3, 6, 9, 12, 15. 8 of the 15 are circled. And then labeling underneath. Okay, labeling underneath, you start with, this is 0/15, 1/15, and so on, all the way up to 15/15. Okay? All right, let's go ahead and read number 8 here. Write an equation, solve the problem using mental math or estimation to see if your answer is reasonable. Terrell runs 2 time drills at practice. The first drill takes 33.5 seconds. The second drill takes 28.2 seconds. How much time does it take him to complete both drills? Okay, so obviously your equation is going to be adding both of those together and getting your answer. And then to estimate, you need to round those numbers. 33.5, you might want to round it to the nearest whole number. You might want to round it to the nearest tenth. You have to decide, but you want to estimate to see if your answers are close. Okay? Oops. I'll pull this up again. Sorry, guys. All right, let's go to the bottom one here. Start your thinking. Maverick has 12 3/4 foot long streamer to decorate a hallway in his school. He cuts off 3/8 of a foot from each end. Okay, so 3/8 from one end and 3/8 of a foot from the other end. So to figure out how much he cut off altogether there, you have to take 3/8 plus 3/8. Okay? From the 12 3/4. And then his principal asked him to make another streamer that is 5/6 as long. How long is the new streamer? So first you have to figure out how long the streamer was. 12 3/4 minus the 3/8 on this end and the 3/8 on this end. So 6/8 altogether. Subtract that, and then you're going to take 5/6 draw. Take your 5, 6 as long, that means 5, 6 times that total. Once you get your 12 3/4 minus your 6/8, get a common denominator, take 5, 6 of that, and that's going to solve your problem for you. All right, well that concludes lesson 6-5, and tomorrow is 6-6. We're going to be looking at multiplicative comparison situations. So a little bit more detail in the story problems using multiplication and division. Thanks for watching today. Hope this helped. Have a great afternoon. See you tomorrow.